I grew up listening to a lot of everything from the Beatles and Beach Boys to Mamas and Papas, Simon and Garfunkel, CSNY. I was much more of a riff rock guy, listening to Zeppelin and Grand Funk, CCR, Jethro Tull, Sabbath. So I wasn't working on harmonies, had no clue how to do it, even though I was a big fan of each, and was aware of how the Beatles had John Lennon carrying a low, kind of an anchor, almost a boring melody, and to hold down Paul's beautiful harmonies, which many non-musicians would assume was the melody. They're so good. And then I started listening. There's bands like Three Dog Night, which you don't see anything like that now, except maybe in Motown. And Motown back then had great harmonies too, everywhere you looked. Queen's kind of at the top of the heap. I figured out from guitar you can do thirds of the scale, octaves, parallel, call and response, lots of different choices, oohs and ahs. CSNY had 3 separate melodies. I love that. If you isolate them, they're not playing along with each other, they're playing against each other, and any one melody would be good enough. And of course, Graham Nash comes from the Hollies, who had beautiful harmonies. And, you know, there was like Badfinger had No Matter What and Baby Blue. And to bring it to a crescendo in the bridge, Tom Evans would come in with a higher harmony than anywhere else in the song. And it really lifted the thing up. So many top bands aren't that great with the harmonies. Led Zeppelin, for example. The Who even, not that great. Stones, it's not their big thing. And the Doors, but they didn't need it. Again, that's what I was into as a kid. And songs like Mockingbird, which I don't really like, but James Taylor and Carly Simon did a great example of call and response there. Ray Charles had What'd I Say? That's got some good harmonies. The Raylettes and Love Shack's got voices everywhere, as does Revolution Earth by the B-52s. So try everything. I record backing tracks full on, 2 guitars, bass, and drums, and just multiply it and work, see what does and doesn't work. Ask myself, what would Brian Wilson do? Or what would Neil Young do? So listen to his song, Country Girl, on Deja Vu, and at 3:40 into the song, listen to that sea of voices. It's phenomenal. I don't know what's going on. I'm jealous of that. And the Beach Boys especially, they've got some beauties. So study harmony, I guess, and teach me if you get a chance. I got on a Joe Cocker kick recently, and he had a lot of Beatley connections and others as well. Yeah, he must have been a legend in England before he blew up in the U.S. because, at Woodstock, after all, McCartney gave him a little help from my friends, and she came in through the bathroom windows. Plus, he recorded George's Something a year before the Beatles did. So that doesn't just happen out of the blue. His first album was produced by Jimmy Page, who also played lead guitar all over it, especially on A Little Help from My Friends. That's a, pre-Zeppelin Page. He didn't want to tour, so Henry McCullough took over and played in the Grease band and at Woodstock before becoming an original member of Wings later. So another Beatle connection. But though Nicky Hopkins played the piano on You Are So Beautiful, it was written by Billy Preston, another piano-playing Beatle connection. A little brush with the Beatles. And both Joe and Nicky played at Woodstock, but Nicky was with Jefferson Airplane at the time. He was on there, all over their fantastic Volunteers album, and he played at Woodstock. So Joe had a huge hit in a duet with Jennifer Warnes, who I knew from the Smothers Brothers show in the 60s, Up Where We Belong. And he had another movie soundtrack hit, You Can Leave Your Hat On, a Randy Newman song, in the movie 9.5 Weeks. And he appeared and sang Come Together in the Beatles theme Across the Universe movie. He was pretty good in that. One of his last projects, Mad Dogs and Englishmen with Leon Russell, was a huge tour, but an even more huge entourage. So he came back home and to England, and Joe had about $200 left to his name. It was such a massive expense. But he had some big hits from it, like Leon Russell's Delta Lady and plenty more. He was on the We Are the World recording. I forgot about that. Most of Joe's tremendous recorded output was made up of covers, but he did write a few. High Time We Met is one of them. It's a one-chord wonder. And his last album was in 2012. He died of lung cancer. But he made 24 albums in all, and they were tasty. Check out this list I put together of some of the covers he did. Beware of Darkness, George Harrison. Maybe I'm Amazed. Chain of Fools. Jealous Guy. Love Don't Live Here Anymore. One of my favorite Madonna songs on her very first album. And I didn't know anyone else had heard it. Lie to Me, the Johnny Lang classic. Let's see, Across from Midnight. Oh my God, that's a great song. Fever. Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood. Darling, Be Home Soon. You Are So Beautiful was a big hit. Can't Find My Way Home, the Blind Faith song. Summer in the City. Woohoo! Feeling All Right. Hitchcock Railway. The Letter. Tempted. He does the best version other than the Squeeze. Check out Tempted by Joe Cocker. Woo! Whiter Shade of Pale. He nails it. He had, let's see, Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood, A Song for You by Leon Russell. I Heard It Through the Grapevine. Midnight Rider, the Greg Allman song. My God, it just went on and on. Honky Tonk Women, The Weight, Cry Me a River, Superstar, Let It Be, Give Peace a Chance, and Just Like a Woman. So I highly recommend a little treasure trove search of Joe Cocker. Spotify's got everything. And boy, what a lost treasure.